Hey there, and welcome to a brand new episode of Delivering Marketing Joy. I am your host, Kirby Hassman, and joining me today is a brand new rock star. This is one that's come recommended from the good folks at ASI. She's a visual storyteller at Ange H Studio. She's CEO. It's a video production and a visual storytelling agency in North Carolina. Angela Hollowell, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's just us getting to know each other a little bit. So I wanted to kind of start with sort of something you're working on now. So what project right now that you're working on has you super fired up, and why?
Yeah, so I work with the East Coast Greenway Alliance, which is a national nonprofit advocating for greater investment and safe, equitable access to green spaces all along the East Coast. So we have a big ride coming up this weekend. Riders will be going from New York to Philadelphia, and I will be on site. It will be my first time in New York and Philadelphia, so I'm super excited about that, number one. Number two, just to be documenting these stories and these riders, from volunteers to riders to partners that have been working with the East Coast Greenway to help fund a lot of their efforts to advocate for more infrastructure, not just for recreation, but also for transportation, right? As we think about what is the future of mobility for a lot of people. So I'm super excited for that project coming up this weekend.
That's a good one, especially if you've never been to Philly or New York. Holy cow, that's going to be fun. How long, do you have any idea how long a ride is that?
It's going to be a 2-day ride.
A 2-day ride. Oh, wow. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's amazing. That's really cool. So that's a good one. I approve. So I'm always curious to know what gets people going. So like, who are some people that inspire you to be better? I mean, obviously you're working on this particular project about a nonprofit, but who are some of those people that inspire you to be better, and how do they do that?
Yeah, I think people that inspire me to be better are people that just show up authentically as who they are and aren't afraid to make noise, aren't afraid to say things that are a little bit contrarian. And not just in a way that ruffles feathers, but in a way that is genuine and inspires the type of conversations that maybe we don't have on a regular basis. So I guess to give you an example of two of the people that are inspiring me a lot right now, Matt Porteous, who is the Royal UK photographer. He's photographed the royals' weddings. He's photographed the wedding of Eli Goulding. I'm pretty sure I'm saying her name wrong, but she's a really big music artist out in London. But he also has a side project, which is called Ocean Culture Life, which is documenting sustainable fishing, how people are preserving the ocean, how different communities depend on the ocean for livelihood, both for fishing, recreation, transportation, all those types of things. So I really love the community that he has built through his work. Which I think is a really good model for business as well, just the way that he modeled his creative business. And then on the other hand, so I'm actually originally from Alabama. And there's a story that was recently featured in Sidewalk Film Festival that I think just happened this weekend in Birmingham, Alabama, of a woman in Panola, Alabama, a very small town in Alabama, Western Alabama, who has basically gotten her town to 94% vaccinated. Right, which is right. Yeah. So like huge success stories. So like, I guess on both ends of the spectrum, like, yes, you see Matt Porteous on this big international scale trying to make change, but can also be really effective on a small scale. You can't say that this one small town doesn't count, in Alabama, like every single number counts. So I think just the work that they're doing is really, really incredible, and has been inspiring me to just be authentic, show up, capture people's stories, and pass the mic to a lot of the awesome things that are happening within our community. So
yeah, I love what you're saying. I think I want to dig in on one thing you said, because I think the model for, let's call it talk radio, forever has been like, say something controversial and then defend it, right? Like that's, and I like what you said is sometimes you're saying something controversial, but it's not just to get likes or clickbait. It is say something controversial that needs to be said so that a difference can be made.
Yes.
That feels better, doesn't it?
It does. It does. Yes. And I think it's like sometimes what may be considered controversial is also just tackling hard topics that maybe we haven't had the space to even talk about before, which is like how people react to vaccines. What are some of the hindrances to people wanting to get vaccinated? What are some people's opinion of their relationship with nature and the earth? things that maybe we just haven't had the time to talk about before. So
yeah, that's super cool. I like that. So I'm curious, as we all are looking to sort of improve and become a better version of ourselves, I always like to ask people, what's something you recommend people start doing today to make their life or their business better? It doesn't have to be something that has both effects, but just something that can make their lives better today.
yeah, I think one thing that I've learned just through being a business owner is that if you are not okay personally, your business is not okay. So they kind of inadvertently tie together in some way, because
Sure
if you
do.
can't show up for yourself, you can't show up for your business.
Yeah.
So one thing that's been really helpful for me is journaling, and not just in the sense of like, let me write down what happened in my day, but journaling my to-do list, journaling like ideas that I have on the fly. Google Keep Notes is also like my digital version of that, just like keeping notes of things that come into my head randomly throughout the day. I think just getting something out and onto paper or onto like a concrete version it increases your chances of getting it done or implementing that in some way into your life or into your business. So that's been really helpful for me, and something that I definitely recommend for people who have fleeting ideas, or maybe just have like a thread that is maybe a fully formed idea. Just get it out and like the pieces will come.
I love that. I've read somewhere, and I've said it enough that I should remember who said it, but they said that the human brain is a great place for coming up with ideas, but it's a terrible place to store them. And I think, to your point, is get it out, whether it's in a blog or whatever. And I think it's amazing how the universe will work in your favor when you do that. So that's great stuff. Okay, final question for you. I mean, you're a storyteller, you're a visual storyteller. So I'm curious to know what mistakes that you see organizations make when they tell their own story. And I guess if you know, how can they fix them?
Yeah. I think right now, short form video content is like big, TikTok, Reels, YouTube Shorts. People are really gravitating to that form of storytelling because the chance of going viral, the organic reach is just really unmatched right now. So I get it. I get the attraction, but I think doing that and neglecting evergreen content is also going to be to your detriment. Yeah. It's cool if you have 1 million followers on TikTok for your business or for your brand or organization, but if not one of those people is influenced by something that you said or really understands what your business is about and how they can support you and engage with you offline, then like what good is having all that organic reach? So I think one really big thing that I hope people don't neglect going forward is the power of good evergreen messaging content that can be stored somewhere on their website, on a YouTube channel, maybe even Facebook Watch if people are still into that. But yeah, just
I love it. It's amazing how fast things are changing. You're like, oh, Facebook Watch. It may be a thing, maybe not. But I hear what you're saying.
So just sticking with that long form video content for certain things that that are beneficial to your organization.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that, and I'm not. I haven't done a great job of being on some of the new form stuff, the TikTok, and I love Snapchat and some of that, but I'm with you. The nice thing about creating that evergreen content is, I mean, obviously from an SEO perspective, but just if what you're doing in evergreen is something that provides value to your audience, then it can provide value for more than just today. And so, focusing at least some attention and energy on that, I think that makes a ton of sense to me. So, well, Angela, thank you so much. It's kind of flown by. I appreciate you coming on and being a guest, and we'll have to do it again sometime. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much again for having me.
Absolutely. Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. We'll see you next time.